Back another album review. This is a review I've been wanting to do for some time because today's episode is on the soundtrack for Queen of the Damned. Before I go any further, I need to clarify that I have not seen the movie, but I just had to get the soundtrack because of the artists who are featured on it. The soundtrack was produced by Jonathan Davis and Richard Gibbs, who also wrote the original songs that were made for it. Everyone knows that Jonathan is best known for being the frontman for Korn, and he even had a cameo in the movie as the ticket scalper. The executive producers were Tom Whalley, Jeff Aldrich, Jeff Blue, and Bill Gerber. The music supervisor was Frank Fitzpatrick, and the executives in charge of Warner Records were Gary Lamel and Doug Frank. The soundtrack was mastered by Eddie Schreier at Oasis Mastering. It was released on February 19th, 2002 on Reprise Records. Now let's talk about the songs. The beginning of the soundtrack is Not Meant for Me by Wayne Static. Wayne was best known for being the original frontman for Static X. Even though he had no part of writing the lyrics for this track, he still knocked it out of the park. The next track is Forsaken by David Draiman. Every millennial knows that he's the frontman for Disturbed, even though he's been in some controversy in recent years. After that is System by Chester Bennington. Chester was best known being the frontman for Linkin Park at the time. The best way I could describe this track is what Korn would sound like if Chester was their frontman. And he was able to hit the high notes even better than Jonathan Davis could, which is ironic because Jonathan helped write the lyrics. This is my third favorite song on the soundtrack. That's followed by Change in the House of Flies by Deftones. This was taken directly from their album White Pony, which came out 2 years earlier. That album is a millennial classic, it's 25 years old, and still holds up. We followed up with Redeemer by Marilyn Manson. I mentioned in previous episodes that no one in the rock and metal communities respects Manson anymore because of the shit that he did, according to what I read on Loudwire. Next up is Dead Cell by Papa Roach. Now, this is a damn good song, and what's cool is that Papa Roach are currently touring with Rise Against as of the making of this video. Up next is Penetrate by Godhead. I'm not overly familiar with Godhead, but they are still together according to what I've read. Right after that is Slept So Long by Jay Gordon. Jay is best known being the frontman for Orgy. What comes next is Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. This track came directly from the band's debut album, The Sickness, which came out 2 years earlier. That album turned 25 years old this year. What comes after that is Cold by Static X. This track was featured on Static X's album Machine, which came out the following year. It's good as fuck, by the way. I say this is my second favorite track on the soundtrack. What follows is Headstrong by Earshot. Earshot is one of the lesser known artists that are featured on the soundtrack, but I can respect the producers for giving those guys some recognition. What's next is Body Crumbles by Dry Cell. This band is rather obscure, and what's interesting is that Jeff Gutt, the band's lead singer, is also the current lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots, another band that Chester Bennington was the frontman for at one time. Overall, I'd say this is my favorite song on the soundtrack. The second to last track is Access by Tricky. This track features Alanis Morissette. The ending of the soundtrack is Before I'm Dead by Kidney Thieves. This track came directly from the band's second album, Zero Space, which also came out in 2002. When researching the soundtrack, I read that it was certified gold by the RIAA, with over with over 500,000 copies sold. I saw that AllMusic thought the soundtrack was okay. However, most people online really like the soundtrack. Hell, it was even featured on Revolver's list of the best movie soundtracks. Now for my thoughts. I think this is a great soundtrack. I read that the reason why Jonathan Davis couldn't sing on any of the tracks that he wrote for the soundtrack is because his record label didn't allow it. So he had some friends of his do that. The songs still turned out great regardless, but I always skip Redeemer when listening to the soundtrack. I do think it's cool that not only were mainstream new metal artists featured, but also some lesser known ones. It's just too bad that no one makes soundtracks like this anymore. Overall, I highly recommend the soundtrack. And now it's the part where I question you. Have you listened to the soundtrack for Queen of the Damned? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? If you saw the movie, what did you think about it? Now let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify you of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another review.